this time, we'll call to order the regular meeting of the Board of Public Works for February 9th, 2026. Natalie, roll please.
Mayor Boyd,
I'm here.
Alderperson Carpenter,
Here.
Alderperson Estercon,
Here.
Alderperson Hanson,
Here.
Alderperson Ledvina. Here.
All here. Thank you. Up next, public comment on matters not on the agenda. Comments made during the public comment period shall pertain only to matters under the jurisdiction of the Board of Public Works. Anyone in person or virtually have any public comment on matters not on the agenda, now's your time to speak. Everyone is here for the traffic impact study. Good there. In virtual land, second time, public comment on matters not on the agenda, now is your time. For the third and final time, public comment on matters not on the agenda. If you have something, just state your name. All right, let's move to the items. Item 1, approval of the January 12th, 2026 Board of Public Works meeting minutes.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Carpenter, seconded by Alderperson Hanson. Discussion comments. Seeing there is none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 2, Unified School District of De Pere High School Traffic Impact Analysis. Scott?
So we have actually the school district and their traffic team here to do a presentation regarding the traffic impact analysis for the high school and future plans. So invited the team up front and they're going to do a presentation and answer any questions the board may have.
For the record, name and address.
Good evening. Christopher Thompson, 1321 Co-Pilot Way, De Pere.
And John Bieberts and Don Lee from Traffic Analysis and Design.
Thank you.
So as you are aware, the Board of Education for the Unified School District of De Pere approved TADDY to perform a traffic study, not just for the high school, but really looking at the entire east side on Merrill and on Chicago streets from Broadway out to East River Road, and then also looking at the corner of Lone Oak and Merrill, and looking at Swan Road by De Pere Middle School. The recommendations that they're going to share with you tonight pertain to the entire area for this, not just the high school. However, it is being discussed at the high school because one of the places, if the board would determine to ever move forward with building a new school, one of the places could be on the land that is just west of the existing high school in that area. It is something where we could look at potentially building there or expanding in that direction, the current facility. So right now the district is looking at all options. TADDY will explain the scope of the recommendations, what was and was not included in the study, and then if you have questions, we can go from there.
Sure. What you see on the screen in front of you is a schematic of really what we looked at. This shows as Chris said, the proposed high school in orange, the relocated middle school where the high school is now, and also the relocated intermediate school. So we assumed this is our scenario that we analyzed, which is, you call it a worst case condition or high volume condition, where it includes the brand new high school and the two relocated schools. So we did our traffic study. We did traffic counts in September, high pedestrian counts, nice weather, lots of activity. So we took a look at different, what we call layers of traffic. First, we have our existing conditions, the way they are today. How does that operate? Next, we look at what we call our 2046 background. In other words, if we would project background traffic and increase it by 1% per year, but no change in school volumes, what does that get us from a recommendation or improvement standpoint? And then we added in, what if the school would increase both their their enrollment as well as the relocated schools, and we increased their enrollment by 36% based on the information received from the schools at that time. And then we layered in finally what we call our 2046 full build, which is the background growth plus all the school and the increased enrollment. And we look at those four scenarios through the study. So from a recommendation standpoint, this schematic is really just kind of just showing number of lanes and intersections. But as we look at things in more detail, if we look at our existing conditions, the way they operate today, everything operates what we call based on acceptable levels of service per DOT, city and county standards. And really what that's based on is based on delay time and stop time. You're at a stop sign or traffic signal. That's all within state and county and city acceptable levels. Once we add the background traffic, in other words, we increase the traffic on Chicago Street and Merrill Street by 1% per year, now we're starting to see little things pop up where improvements are needed to be made. First thing is at the intersection of Webster and Chicago, looking at that either being a roundabout or a future signalized intersection. And also looking at the intersection of Erie Street and Chicago Street, adding some turn lanes, restriping some things, delineating some turning movements at that always stop intersection. Next, we take a look at what if we expand the schools and, as Chris said, build a new high school just west of the existing high school, relocate the middle school, relocate the intermediate school, then what? Now we're starting to see some major significant improvements that need to be made. Starting on the east side, for example, the first thing would be the two roundabouts on Chicago Street and Dickinson Street, Chicago and Swan. We're recommending there that be a 2-lane roundabout instead of a single-lane roundabout, as well as the intersection of Chicago and Libel Street to be a 2-lane roundabout. Both those are major improvements that require significant costs to do those. Combined, we're looking at probably about a $46 million improvement to make those improvements. And then going west of there, we're looking at modifying or expanding the intersection of Lone Oak Road and Merrill Street, adding turn lanes for ingress and egress to the schools, adding lanes for queuing there through that area as well. And then further, as you go west to the school access points, look at adding lanes to and from the driveways as they expand their footprint, so to speak, for the new high school. If you flip to the next page, next exhibit, here's just a schematic of what the new high school could look like and what the traffic patterns could be at that location. So what's shown here is arrows in blue represent the parent pickup and drop-off patterns, and the yellow represents the bus pickup and drop-off pattern. So the goal in any school studies is to separate the buses from the parent to pickup drop-off. So you'll see the parent to pickup drop-off more on the east side of the school, and recommending a new right turn exit only, which is shown in the kind of a pink fuchsia color down there at the bottom on the Merrill Street, to basically pull vehicles off of the street system, off the school parking lot area and onto Merrill Street turning right to keep that area basically queue free and allow the buses to operate on the north side of the school. Likewise, the existing high school, which would now be the middle school or media school, there we're looking on the east side, the bus patterns and parent pickup drop-off patterns shown in blue and yellow at that location. So in looking at what improvements could be made, if you flip back to the last exhibit, and what improvements are optional, in other words, how can we avoid reconstructing those two roundabouts from single lane to dual lane, which would be a massive expense and a massive impact from a real estate standpoint? One of the things that we could do is do a staggered school schedules. In other words, have these schools start and end at half-hour increments to spread out that peak surge. Right now, we have about a 20-minute surge where all the traffic comes in, all the traffic exits. That's where we have a lot of traffic issues and operational issues. But if you can spread that out and have half-hour stagger between schools, that'll be one option. The next option is obviously, instead of building the high school at this location, find a new site and push that traffic to elsewhere. The other option is not build the high school there, but basically expand the schools where they currently are and look at that option. So with that, that's just a quick summary of what we looked at. We can definitely answer any detailed questions you may have or go into more detail if you choose to.
Thank you. Just so we can clarify a couple things, Scott, you can help me on this. West of Pere did something like this as well a few years ago. The cost, the majority of it, if something goes forward, would be picked up by
School district.
Okay. And I want to make sure the residents understand that, and obviously you do as well too, that if, for example, a roundabout goes in at Webster and Chicago Street, significant expense, I don't want people leaving this or having the understanding that that would be picked up by us. But obviously this is very important for the school district to do this, to get a handle, and the city, on what potential traffic implications are. And then so the residents understand as well too, and whoever else is out there picking up, as Superintendent Thompson stated, this is just a look at what potentially could occur. So it's important for them, we think, to do this, and it's a very comprehensive study. So thank you very much. Questions, comments? Some of this also, by the way, incorporates Ledgeview as well. That would be beyond our purview. But Alderperson Hansen.
Yeah, thank you for that presentation. So you're not recommending any conversion to one-way roads in any of this, correct?
That's correct. Yep.
Okay.
Internally, we're looking at some options internal to the site itself, but as far as public streets goes, no changes to one-way, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Very good pickup. Alderperson Carpenter.
So if this project moves forward in a distance time, how much input is the public going to get? Because there was a business that wanted to buy a piece of property there, and the public didn't want that much traffic there, Mac Dental. So that's how come I want to know how much input's going to be put in, because the school is going to be causing a lot more traffic than I think Mac Dental was going to at the time.
And to put that in perspective, that is on Chicago Street. Was that the former Henry Gillis
Yes.
property,
Yep.
if we recall?
And then the school purchased that Henry Gillis property.
Do you want to take that?
I don't think they're not going to know anything of that. Specifically, right now, there are listening sessions for the public right now scheduled for March. I would have to go to look it up to give you the exact dates, and I'll take a look tonight, and I'll get that to you before I walk out. But we have listening sessions set up for March, just on a variety of issues when it comes to future facility needs. What's happening right now is we're in a season of looking at pulling all the data pieces together, the feedback from the listening sessions, the traffic study, the enrollment study that was done, looking at the recommendations that were made 2 years ago by the Community Facilities Task Force, pulling all of this data together, and then the administration is going to create a series of recommendations, so recommendation sets, as well as benchmarks or thresholds for when this population enrollment benchmark is hit. This would be the next logical move to make for the school district so that we can start planning in a regular fashion at that point, because we know that growth we anticipate to keep happening in this sense for that. And then what will happen from there is the board will authorize the district, assuming that they like what was presented, to go to survey, as I say. So instead of going to referendum, you're just going to survey. That will happen in fall. In the survey, we will discuss the staggered schedule, because that's going to be an interesting piece of data to bring back as well from both the community, but also the parents and the staff shareholders as well, because you have to look at all of that in a fluid piece here. The other part is to look at what is the community willing to fund when it comes to all of these recommended changes. I can tell you this, the high school right now is operating about 40 students under its recommended capacity. Fox U is finally back to its capacity, and we had to do quite significant measures to bring it back down to that. We've gotten it back there. Middle school right now is 40 students above its capacity right now again, and then Dickinson, full. Heritage, full. Altmeyer right now, we have about 3 more classrooms available there. And so the district is getting very full now. We know this. We're planning and we're doing what we need to do for the school community to make it work within our footprint. We're also looking at how can we bring in various revenues in so that we can keep things running in a smart manner for the community and where there are opportunities for us. Because I say that because there are always feelings when it comes to open enrollment. And open enrollment is like filling your seats on a plane. You don't bring another plane in, but you fill those seats up, you have it. So fly the Southwest model when it comes to that. You want to go with that way of thinking with this. And so we're looking at all of that right now. That's the timeline. If everything would come to fruition, I would think that we would be potentially seeing something coming in spring of 2027 at the soonest, but I'm not making any promises on that. And then obviously there will be more listening and feedback sessions on this. I'm just giving you the what do I have scheduled right now, and I will, while we're finishing up here, look for those dates for you.
Yeah, what I'm bringing up is the staggering is a very important thing, which you're just going to create instead of 20 minutes, now you got an hour. A busy, a busyness instead of just 20 in and out. No, you have an hour. Correct me if I'm wrong. And it doesn't pertain to me. I live on the west side, so this has nothing to do with me, and I won't be traveling that area. But I just know what people had complaints, and so when you're doing the survey, is that going out to? How is it getting out to the residents?
It will be when we survey them, it will be sent as a hard copy survey to take online, but we will also provide the opportunity to do it in written form like we've done all of our others.
So
We do both.
And I won't be on this board when this all comes about anyway, but I would really appreciate it, I think, if you sent within a certain area of that school, all home residents, information about this going on. somehow
There will
be side.
significant amount of communications that go with all of this. We're not just going to be using the survey to communicate it. There will be components with all of this and then all of the dates that go with that. Real quickly, the dates for you. The first listening session is on Wednesday, March 4th at Altmeyer from 5:30 to 7. The second listening session is it on my calendar? I feel like it's the 17th. Yes, Tuesday, March 17th at 7 p.m. at De Pere High School in the
Thank
community
you.
room.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And those will be on the school district website as well, too,
Yes,
correct? If
you're going to
people
see,
don't-
right now, we're in the process of communicating right now on Redbird Community Classroom. We will be flipping to the next item real soon, but yeah, we have a lot going on in
And
there.
I fully understand this is not happening tomorrow or nothing. This hasn't even been approved by the school and the board and everything.
But he's correct. I mean, we got hit up pretty good with that particular Mac Dental thing and traffic impact, et cetera. So
Yes.
we're pretty cognizant of that. It's still fresh in our minds. Other questions or comments? And it should be noted, too, that the school district, when they do make changes, they work obviously with their engineer
Yep.
in Public Works. Dickinson, at least on the east side, is the latest example of some improvements with the three-way intersection and, trying to alleviate and help traffic coming in and out. So it's been a really good relationship. So these things are normally beneficial, but they're just ideas. Any more that you all want to share?
I think that's it. Good.
Okay. And again, can't help but to emphasize to residents out there that this is just a look at what are some ideas of what could be a potential. They are nowhere near making final decisions, and nor are we. So it's good to have this information out and be fully transparent. We appreciate that.
I would think that it'd be good for me to come back to you with an update, maybe not this entity, but the Common Council sometime over the summer and then again in the fall. And I'll look to Alderman Ledvina to make certain that I keep that promise to all of you. As a
Yeah,
parent.
just connect with the office, mine or anyone's, and we'll rearrange that. So
We'll be
this
glad
is
to.
it's a good first look. So we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
you.
Thank you for coming in. Thank you. Trying to get back here. Item 3, consideration and possible action on city engineer parking and traffic recommendations. Eric?
Okay, so first we'll start out with the recommendations, and we really only have 2 at this point. And so the first one is to update our ordinance to reflect the signage in the field, and it's on Diversity Drive. Currently, Diversity Drive is signed for no stopping, standing parking from Ryan Road to 1,368 feet east, which is the point where the road width changes from 26 to 32 feet. The 26-foot years ago was approved with the understanding that parking would not occur there because if we have parking on both sides, it's a long stretch, there's no driveways, we would not be able to get traffic through. So what we're recommending is that we update the ordinance to match. So the ordinance right now does match, I believe, on the south side, but on the north side, the restriction is only 100 feet east of the intersection with Ryan. So we're recommending the ordinance be updated for no standing, stopping, parking from Ryan Road to 1,368 feet east, both north and south side of the road.
Okay. Any questions on that, anybody?
No?
All right.
And then the second is with the changes that are taking place on GB14, soon to be Generations Boulevard, we're recommending a speed limit change on our remaining section of Southbridge. So our Southbridge was signed and approved for a 45 mile per hour speed limit. However, the GB14 segment that was just completed from I-41 to Lawrence Drive is 40 miles an hour. And so our remaining stretch from Lawrence to American is still 45. And we're recommending we update our speed limit to 40 to match the GB14 segment until it becomes county. And once it's county, it's automatic. Then they're going to take it over and set it at 40. So that way there'll be consistency between the 2 sections.
Well, that makes sense. Questions, comments? I'll make a motion to approve the recommendations, both of them.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Ledvina. Discussion, comments? Alderperson Carpenter.
Since it's a kind of a dead end right now, Eric, so there's speed limit signs on, I haven't gone that direction towards Fourth or anything.
That's a very fair question, and I should get out there to verify.
Because I would just say if there is no signs
Yeah.
there, why don't we wait until the signs come up? You know what I mean,
Correct.
instead of changing.
You are correct. I will find out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions, comments? Very good. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 4, discuss city engineer recommendations on no action parking and traffic discussion items. Eric.
Okay, so the first two are rapid rectangular flashing beacon requests. One of them was a request at Grant Suburban, and my typo mistake, I said Allard, I meant Apollo. So the criteria for our RRFBs, as I call them, rapid rectangular flashing beacons, the lights that we have, for instance, downtown and Broadway. The criteria is multi-lane collector arterial over 12,000 ADT, because multi-lanes are more difficult to get the inside lane to stop if the outside lane does, so that's why the RFBs are very beneficial. And then 20 pedestrians per hour. This location doesn't meet that from a ADT standpoint, average daily traffic, or it's only got one lane in each direction. Plus, several years ago, we did put pedestrian bump outs so that the pedestrians are more visible, and also so that if a person is making a left on one of the side streets or yielding to the pedestrian, the vehicle behind them won't think they're making a left and try to bypass around them. So there's no ability to bypass for a vehicle yielding to a pedestrian. There is a crossing guard at this location for peak hours in the morning and the afternoon. As I indicated, it's only 2 lanes. The RFBs were not recommended as part of the traffic impact analysis that we just talked about for the West of Pere School District. So we're not recommending any action.
Thank you. Questions, comments on that one? Thank you. Next.
Okay, the next is an RFB on 8th and Cedar. Again, I just went over the criteria. This section of 8th is 2 lanes, 1 in each direction. The ADT farther to the south, where the traffic's a little heavier, is 9,500. We didn't feel it doesn't meet our criteria, so we're not recommending an RFB.
Thank you. Anybody? All right, keep on going.
Okay, the next is a request for a yield sign at Adams and Irwin Street. So currently, Adams and Irwin Street are local streets with no control, meaning there's no yield, no stop. In the past, the board has not been recommending yield signs for local streets unless there's special conditions, curves, some unique configuration, which this is a straight up cross intersection. On the other side, there is a stop sign on the adjacent intersection of Adams and Franklin Street. We did have PD check. There have been no recordable accidents at this intersection in the last 5 years. Because of that, in the past, what we've been doing with the board and even our new subdivisions without putting in control signs at our cross intersections, we're not recommending any action.
Thank you. Questions, comments, anybody? All right, very good.
Next, we have a request for a 3-way stop condition at Grant and Suburban. So first, the stop signs weren't recommended as part of that traffic impact analysis. Again, this is the same intersection we just talked about, the RFBs. This request came in for speed control. They had concerns with speed, so it was not the same person that requested the RFBs. But in this location, a 3-way stop would create significant backups during the peak morning and afternoon rush for the school. For those of you familiar, when you go out Grant Street, it is crazy, particularly in the morning, and a 3-way stop would be really a mess. In fact, the county just upgraded the intersection of Mid-Valley and Grant Street to eliminate the stop condition on Mid-Valley because people couldn't get through with the amount of traffic coming. So they put a roundabout in there to keep traffic moving. So at this location, it would be a mess. I mean, ideally, it'd be great to have a roundabout there someday, but that isn't in the picture at this point. So we're not recommending any stop signs be installed, a 3-way stop at that location.
Anybody? All good with that? Okay, figured as much. Next.
And then the last one is a request for centerline striping at the corner of 8th and Reed due to the sharp corner that vehicles traverse the center line. This is the location just south of Main Avenue on 8th. There's a travel agent there, and it goes past the little mall that used to have Caribou Coffees in that area. Anyway, so it's 2 local streets. There's a little bit more traffic. We didn't do a traffic count. However, it is a local street. It's 25 miles an hour. Really, the concern was people crossing over the center line when they go around that 90-degree bend. And we didn't feel like it warranted putting in traffic pavement markings in the center of the street for the local street.
Thank you. Questions or comments on any of the no action items? And we take no action, so that's what we have right there. Thank you. That's all of that, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Sorry, David. Up next, we have,
Yeah.
where am I?
Approval?
MSC.
Do we need to do that? I'll make a motion to,
With item 3. Do we make a motion to approve those ordinance changes?
we did item 3.
Okay.
We already did item 3. And then we don't do anything for item 4, if I recall, correct?
Correct.
Was there somebody wanting to speak for item 4?
Did you want to speak on that? Are you okay? No.
I'm just going to say, because he made a comment looking towards you, and I just want to make sure.
Yeah, we had talked previously and stuff, so,
I just want to make sure that I'm not cutting somebody short here.
no, that's very kind.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we're good with 3, 4, nothing there, so we're going to jump right to 5. Item 5, MSC Rubbish Drop-Off Hours During Construction.
Mr. Feature.
Tony?
Good evening. As we know, this spring, the MSC will be going through a major construction project, which will coincide with the rubbish drop-off site opening up in April. With that active site, the current rubbish site is going to need to be moved to a different location to accommodate the fuel tanks and whatnot during this construction project. This area will be an active site and most likely a hard hat zone. So in order to not impact the construction and for the safety of our residents, we're recommending that the rubbish site only be open on Saturdays to avoid conflict with the construction project itself. And then also that the site may periodically need to be moved around the footprint of the MSC to accommodate the drop-off around the construction project itself. So that would be our recommendation.
Thank you. Obviously, it's very popular, and people have picked up on it, so it'll be a little bit different for residents, and I totally understand why we would do this. We would clearly do some big-time advertising with social media and press releases to make sure people are aware, because they have been utilizing this. It's been an incredible service. Questions, comments on the recommendation? Alderperson Carpenter.
Is it possible, I know the schedule's all made out, that we add a couple extra rubbish pickup schedules and get it posted out there on signs or something? Out to the residents while this has been curb pickup during this time.
What are we at right now? Anybody? What are we at right now?
Please.
2?
We do 2 times a year. We do June and September. The curbside rubbish pickup is a very staff and equipment cumbersome project. So we have generally 6 tandem trucks, 2 loaders, and some metal trucks that go out. So in the event that something like that happened, there would be a lot more costs as far as equipment and fuel. But in addition to that, other core services would not be accomplished.
Well, we for sure haven't budgeted for it, so I think it would take a pretty decent discussion. But that said, she might add, Alderperson Ledma?
I was just going to say those 2 pickups are during the time that we would be down to Saturday anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because it's April through November.
So that
We
wouldn't-
said June and September.
So if you wanted to put a new
you would-
pickup time, you do it outside of those 2 dates. It would be,
Those 2 dates fall within the time that you would only be able to do drop-off on Saturdays.
Correct.
Which is nice, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of accomplishing what Dan was saying.
I just threw it out.
he thought
there.
maybe just, and it's not a bad thought. I
I'm
just
just
know there's
saying-
going to, pretty decent cost associated with it, but
Yes, I understand that. I
Yeah.
know the tandems and they got loaders and they have everything going
Yeah.
up there. I fully understand that. It was just a suggestion.
no, it was not a bad suggestion at all. So that said, I would make a recommendation to go, I'd make a motion to go with the recommendation for the rubbish drop-off hours during construction, however long that is.
I'll second.
Motion by me, second by Alderperson Levina. Again, there will be, massive advertising for this to get people aware of what's going on. Additional comments, discussion? That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 6, consider and possible action on water volume charges for PSC rate case. Scott?
So as part of the PSC water rate application, the city must choose the preferred water volume charge structure. The PSC provides really 3 options. It's a declining rate structure where the rate decreases as the water usage increases per quarter. You have a constant rate structure where it's a fixed rate regardless of how much usage a customer has. And then there's the inclining rate structure where rates increase as the water usage increases per quarter. So our current structure right now is we are actually at the declining rate structure where the rate decreases after 50,000 gallons per quarter. So in our PSC rates right now, so the customer pays for the first 50,000 gallons of Tier 1, $8.18 per thousand gallons. The next level at Tier 2, the next 450,000 gallons, the customer pays $7.60 per thousand gallons. And then next rate, Tier 3, over 500,000 gallons, the customer pays $6.75 per 1,000 gallons. So what I have in your memo, I also wanted you folks to realize the different classes that we have going on in usage. So I gave you a summary for 2024. Basically, our residential customers, 99.55% of them are all in Tier 1, basically. So any change, there's minimal impact. So then you start getting in your public and commercial industrials. You're looking at 2/3 to 3/4 are in that Tier 2 and Tier 3 range. Public authority, meaning the city, we're well over 50%, in the Tier 2. And then the multifamily, you got significant increases, users that are close to 60% that are in that Tier 3. Basically, one of the issues and concerns change to inclining rate structure that would increase the cost for major users. What I don't have in your packet, and I just got it, after the packet went out. Our top 5 users in the city are St. Norbert's College, our 2 paper mills, some multifamily rentals in the city of De Pere. So then we started getting into the top 10. You got the school districts, a lot of industry. You have major users, senior housing, other multifamily, the actual care facility off of 9th Street, the Rennes Health Center. So basically what happens is when you start increasing the rates for inclining, you're going to basically impact those users. One of the things is, as we also talked about in my memo, I'm going to pull it up again, I apologize, that we have more than enough water supplying, our customers. So it's not like we're trying to conserve water. Typically, your inclining rates, if you have a water shortage or that sort of thing, and you're trying to conserve the water, we don't have that here. And then basically, our current declining rate structure that we have right now, it falls within the PSC guidelines and supports our local businesses and institutions. So based off what we presented tonight and knowing what our customers is, basically the staff is recommending keeping the existing declining rate structure that we have now. Basically, one of the biggest things, it promotes economic development by maintaining affordability for high volume users. If we change it, those high volume users, you're going to start making their rates go up, and then it doesn't really promote economic development, and then you might see some large users leaving. And then unfortunately, if we have those high volume rate payers leave, we still have to come up with the same amount of revenue to pay the expenses. So it eventually passes on to our single residential family customers.
Thank you. Much information to digest. Questions, comments? And it's good to look at this because we have the 3 options that we have. I know it was brought up. Why don't we, charge more for more usage? But clearly you've offered some insight as to why it may not be such a good idea and maybe detrimental to people either sticking around or deciding not to show up here. We don't want that at all, that's for sure. Alderperson Carpenter.
So Scott, how many we already have some businesses with their own wells, am I correct?
There's nothing that I'm aware of that they may use there might be some industrial customers that might use it.
That's-
There are some water wells, like the school district, for example, they use it for their watering their lawns. We do have customers like that use those high capacity wells, but it wouldn't be for any of their consumption or any of that sort of thing. But we do have several. So, but those high rate users, such as the school district, that's just basically what they pay to, supply, drinking water to the students and teachers and faculty.
Well, if we change this to the same rate, we're affecting ourselves very high rate in this. You know what I mean, as a public
it's-
authority.
No,
It's our rates are going to be,
city rates. Yep.
city rates are going to be quite high.
If it's a constant rate structure,
Yes.
If it's constant, then everybody's, most likely residential may go down a little bit, but then all the other users, including the city, our rates go up. School districts go up, multifamily go up, industry and commercial goes up.
Thank you.
thank you. Other questions or comments? Alderperson Hanson.
Yeah, I do have a constituent who felt strongly it should be constant or increasing structure, thinks that the highest users should shoulder the biggest burden on this. I understand the risk, though, about businesses leaving. I'm just wondering if staff has done any analysis. So in 2 years, we're projected to raise the rates 19.5%. If we did go to, let's say, a constant rate structure, how much would that reduce the 19.5% increase for homeowners?
Well, we don't know exactly how it's going to impact the residential single-family homeowners, and the overall rate and the revenue coming in is 19.5 or whatever that percent. It may be lower or less. So, like when we did our last rate case, residentials were a little bit less, I believe. Some are commercial, industrial, a little bit higher, but the overall rate for all users and all fees that we collected were, I think it was 19%. So when it's all done and said with the rate case, it'd be similar to that. The rates and revenue coming in would be, in the 19% range. We don't know until they actually go through the full rate analysis and the rate case to determine which users, how many percentage increases.
You can go one more and then we'll go to Alderperson Lebanon.
No, she can go.
Alderperson Lebanon.
I was just gonna ask how long we've been at the current structure for the declining.
Probably 20 plus years.
It's,
20 years.
I think that structure's been there since
Yeah.
all the 36 years I worked for the water utility.
Oh, really?
Yes, I mean, it's always been a structure going downward.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
So it'd be-
and Scott listed all the reasons behind it, and I understand it, but you don't want businesses, you don't want other things, and if you take it to, when he brings up Rennes Nursing Home, people pay to be in the nursing home. You don't think that nursing home is going to lose any money. If you think they are, you raise their rates, guess what? People are in there, and it just costs everybody money, no matter what. Businesses aren't going to lose their money.
So you'd think there's unintended consequences, yet it's probably the opposite. We actually know what the consequences are in this case.
Yes.
There's nothing out there that is really hidden.
Yes.
Scott?
And one of the things is too, and I mentioned earlier, multifamily. You got your, senior living. You got your multifamily. A lot of times your multifamily are, lower to moderate income, and what the rents they pay, and automatically the rent's going up because they got to pass that water rate on. So I mean, you're going to impact those users that live in those multifamily complexes by doing an increasing volume use.
Thank you. Are you done, Alderperson
I
Lebanon?
guess I would have asked, if we don't make a change at this point, where down the line are we able to make a change to that?
I guess I don't understand your
Well,
question.
we have to select this now with the PSC water rate application, right?
Yes.
We have to make a decision.
Correct.
But then moving forward, when would we have another opportunity to take a harder look at this and make a change?
So what'll happen is next time we would do a full rate case, then you would look at the rate structure again. So when we do, as you recall, when our consultant gave the presentation, we don't see a significant full rate case after this one because it'll be minor, simple rate cases. And if it's a simple rate case, we don't need to go to the PSC where they would change it. So it may not come about for, quite a few years
Okay.
to discuss it again.
Okay.
Alderperson Hanson.
Has our finance director or that water rate consultant we hired weighed in on this at all?
Yes. Actually, when I put the memo together, everybody was involved in it. As far as, the information I got from, the percentages came from our rate consultants, went through who was what and what tiers. We got information on our top 30 customers. I got that from Green Bay Met. So the whole water rate case team has been involved, including our city manager.
I know they've been very concerned about paying the debt down though. So I'm just so they've been looking at the possible benefits to paying the debt down by going to, let's say, a constant structure. And they're saying that the negative impacts would outweigh the benefits of additional revenue.
Well, you got to realize the constant rate structure, whether it's inclining, declining, or stays constant, our actually PSC application rate was to do the expense depreciation of $1 million. So what the PSC will do, for example, once the board and council decides on this rate structure here for, declining, constant, or inclining, they use that information to establish all the rates. Because their ultimate goal is to actually raise that $1 million for expense depreciation to fund our water main replacement. So, regardless what structure we go to, the PSC will establish those rates and what customers got to pay.
Okay.
So to be more simple, the staff is the consultant, Pam, yourself, when we have a recommendation, they're in on it as well too.
Yes.
They're comfortable with us sticking with the existing rate schedule.
Correct.
Correct? Alderperson Hanson, that kind of is what you're kind of asking for as well. Make sure everyone's on board here and they're part of that staff recommendation. Alderperson Carpenter, do you have something else?
No, I was gonna make a motion to go with the declining rate structure.
I'll second. Motion by Alderperson Carpenter, seconded by me, to go with the recommendation retaining the existing declining rate structure for water volume charges. Additional discussion, comments? Alderperson Ledman.
This goes to council?
Is there a star after it? The answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay, so that'll be at council next week?
Yep.
If we wanted maybe more information or something.
What did you want more?
It's going to council next Tuesday, so if
Correct.
we wanted more information, we'd have to
You have to ask me what you want.
ask right away. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know right now, I have to think about it.
Yep, the answer is yes,
Great,
correct.
thank you.
You're welcome. That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We're moving along. Slowly, but we're moving along. Item 7, consideration and possible action on resolution establishing tax equivalent payable to the city by the water utility. Scott.
So what you have in your packet tonight is actually a resolution basically setting our payment in lieu of taxes that we typically pay, the water utility pays the city as part of their operating costs. The resolution you have before you is going to be part of the PSC rate case application. It's going to set the pilot at a amount of $500,000. Basically, this is to avoid additional increases in the future due to expense depreciation. The resolution before you was provided by actually the example resolution, and our legal team customized it, was provided by our rate consultant for your consideration. So staff recommends approving the attached resolution, authorizing the city to request the PSC to set the pilot at a fixed amount of $500,000.
Thank you. Questions, comments, motion?
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Alderperson Hanson, seconded by Alderperson Ledman. Discussion, comments? Looks like you're all good. That said, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 8, consideration and possible action on DOT revised state municipal financial agreement, SMFA, for Southbridge Interchange.
So what you have before you is the revised state municipal financial agreement for the interchange. And the reason it's a revision is because they actually got the actual bid prices once they opened the bids. Basically, the DOT has informed me the project costs came in approximately $1 million over the project estimate, which also included part of our cost sharing. Basically what they told me, this revised agreement basically sets us up. We do increase from $3,631 to $10,648. But if we didn't revise the agreement, then all those overages, that we're responsible for, our costs would have exceeded that much more. So basically, the staff recommends the Board of Public Works approve the agreement and forward to council for approval.
Well, the good news is the DOT is still paying up to 90% of the cost. So that's the good news. I have a feeling that this is not going to be the first time we're going to see something like this, but it is what it is. That said, I'll make a motion to approve the change.
Second.
Motion by me, reluctantly seconded by Alderperson Carpenter. Discussion, comments. All right, that said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 9, consideration possible action on special charge rates for 2026 sidewalk repair orders and gap sidewalk orders. Eric.
All right.
All right.
So opposite of the one we just had, this one is going to have a deduct or a change from all the years where we're lowering it, believe it or not. So the purpose for this item is to establish our special charge rate and also consider a payback period for our sidewalk replacement program and for the new sidewalk installations we order in under our 2026 sidewalk program. And later this year, we will bringing those orders in, as a separate process to the board for action. But each year, the city inspects 1/8 of the city. This year, we are on the west side, west of the Fox River, west of the Canadian National Railroad tracks, south of Grant Street, and north of Schuring. And then the work is completed under Project 2605, which we're bringing forward today for action also. Once the repair is done, we do bill those back to property owners via a special charge. And then starting in 2019, the board offered a program where anything over $1,000, a person had a 5-year payback option for their sidewalk repairs. So what this is again, we have our program for deficient sidewalk. Anything that's deficient and that the property owner does not repair, we will repair under that contract, and then we will bill back to them, except if the damage is due to a city tree. If it's a city tree, we pay for that expense. And again, they are charged back via a special charge under state statute 66.0627. The charge covers the cost of the concrete, the aggregate, the rebar, steel that we put in the sidewalk. It does include a contingency of 5%, which at the end of the job, if it's not used, is taken off the final amount. And then there's the 20% engineering and admin. So just to give you a quick breakdown for 2026, under Table 1 in your packet, new sidewalk, the cost for this year is $15.85. We didn't include a cost from last year because we didn't have any. Provide new 6-inch sidewalk is $17.10. And again, both of these are new orders that we put in, and most of the time the property owners are taking care of it themselves before we do it. But then to replace the sidewalk, the charge for 2026 is $15.93 per square foot, which is down from last year's amount of $16.51. And the cost to replace 6-inch sidewalk is $17.18. For 2026, it was $17.71 last year. And then on the Table 2, we give you an idea of what it costs for a 4-inch concrete replaced slab. 5x5 is roughly $398.25. So if a person has 3 slabs, they're over the $1,000 threshold that has been considered back for a 5-year payback period in the past. So staff is recommending that we establish the rates for 2026 with a 5-year payback for special charges exceeding $1,000. And then the rates will be for new concrete sidewalk, $15.85 per square foot. For new 6-inch, $17.10 per square foot. Remove and replace 4-inch is $15.93 per square foot. And to remove and replace 6-inch concrete sidewalk is $17.18 per square foot. And again, just to clarify, 6-inch sidewalk is put in at driveways.
Thank you. Lots of information. Do you know, and I apologize not asking ahead of time, how many folks have utilized the $1,000
I do not know.
Threshold? Talked about this in the past.
Yeah, I don't know the number. Generally, we will bring a list when we come back with the orders that we're recommending, and we'll include the number that are over 1,000. So you have an idea of what we're dealing with each year. I didn't think there were as many last year. It all depends on the area of the city that you're in. And we will try to get out and do our inspections when the frost is out of the ground. And this year that could be a while because there's a little bit of a frost. But we try to get them done, March, April, and then bring them in May. And then the property owners have until July 1st to make the repair. And they can request an extension through Scott to August 31st, but that's the drop dead date for repairing on their own.
Thank you. I know we've probably discussed in the past about the $1,000. I mean, it hasn't changed since 2019. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to have a number that's no one's really utilizing, So I'm not sure if that's for now or another discussion, or we want to wait to see how this year goes and then revisit it next year.
I think at some point you should consider maybe you raise it up a little bit, because if you look back to when we first established it in 2019, the cost per square yard was a lot lower. Inflation is impacting that. So I think at some point it probably makes sense to creep up the threshold, but we didn't recommend it this year because the prices came down from last year.
Maybe this year it's not that year, but somehow make a note of it that we can look at it next year. Dan doesn't care, but look at it next year.
We did talk about this.
Correct, did we not?
We did discussion, because I brought that up saying I think it should be changed, but we just kind of went push, just leave it as it was, so it can stay as it is. For now on, you can decide in May.
Very good, thank you. All right, other questions, comments, recommendation?
Mayor?
Alderperson Hanson.
Yeah, Eric, when somebody has consecutive sidewalk slabs that have to be installed, are we still going with the slightly wider slabs?
Okay, so with this program, here's what we're doing. You're talking about when we convert from a 4-foot 8-inch slab to a 5-foot slab. Mm-hmm. For the most part, no, this program, unless they have 50 feet in length or more, we put them back the same width. Mm-hmm. What we've been doing is add our curb ramps on our reconstruct programs, and if we're doing road work and we're reconstructing the curb ramp and then we reconstruct the landing pad, we're putting those in at 5 feet because we're paying for it. And that way we're kind of setting ourselves up slowly. As time goes on, it'll take a really long time. But that was the policy we had brought forth. So if the board wanted to change it, wanted to say, hey, we think everything should be 5 feet, we could do that in the future. We just haven't. We've been going off of our old program. So if it's once you hit 50 feet, or if you're brand new, you got to go in 5 feet. But it was the 50-foot threshold. And again, we've kind of been doing it on our own projects at the curb ramps because it gets you up and gets you started. But we haven't been doing it with this.
I think I had one or two constituents that was over 50 because I remember they had to put in the wider ones.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're using.
Yeah.
Good.
Yep.
Make a motion to approve the sidewalk installation replacement rates for 2026.
And I will second that based on the recommendation within the packet.
Yes.
Additional discussion, comments? That said, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 10, discussion on the Main Avenue Alley dumpster location.
All right, so I just want to give everybody a rundown of what we're proposing for the dumpster location in the alley located north of Main in between 4th and 3rd Street. We are reconstructing that alley, and we're also reconstructing 4th north of Main and 3rd north of Main, also known as Hicks Square, this summer. And as part of that, this is one of the last areas that Scott's been trying to get these dumpster locations in so we can eliminate all the garbage cans behind the businesses. So we've looked at multiple locations, and we just wanted to bring it to the board so you're familiar with what's going on and why we're recommending it. Because this has been a little bit of a challenge trying to fit a dumpster location back here because of the proximity of the mill and the businesses, and really we don't have a lot of land. And the majority of the property back there is not our right-of-way, it's mill property. So they have to approve the location. And when we talked to the mill, we had talked about putting it on their property, but they had some legit concerns. If it's too close to their building, someone can hop on the dumpster enclosure, get up on the roof, which they have had people climb up on their roofs. And number two, they produce paper that is food grade. And if we put a dumpster on their property, it impacts their audit for food grade. So they were not interested in that, which is important to know. Okay. So I put the information up so instead of typing everything up. So I'm going to run through the locations we looked first, and then I'll talk about the issues with each location. So the first location is coming off of Main, heading north on 4th Street. This is the old auto place, and this is the entrance that goes back to the mill for semis. But we have an alley there. So location number 1 was on the alley. Then as you come around, heading north, you turn east onto the alley. This is the mill. Here's the old library. These are the businesses. The city owns that property there. So we thought, well, we should at least take a look at putting it on our property if we were looking at putting it elsewhere on other people's property. So that was location number 2. Location number 3 was as you come around the alley, you go past the loading docks on the mill. Here's the river. You turn the corner into Hicks Square. There's some area that's painted out for no parking, and we took a look at putting a dumpster location there as location number 3. Location number 4 is tucked up into Hicks Square near the sign, and location number 5 is closer to Main Avenue, kind of on the opposite, on the west side of the sign. This would be on the east side towards the river. So those are the 5 locations that we identified as a potential fit. So first, going to location number 1, which is up near the alley off of the vacated alley. All right, it's not vacated, the alley that wasn't constructed, behind the service station over on the west side of the mill alley and 4th Street. You can kind of see how this would sit if we tried to put one in here. First, there's a big grade change from the alley going into the mill that would really make it difficult to fit in, and if really almost impossible. And then also this is used for semis for the mill, and plus it's over our sanitary, so that was not very conducive. There is overhead power lines there also. Next is the city parcel that we talked about. I think it's 360 Main, is that? Yep. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And again, if you look, number 1, there's a big hill there, which our dumpsters need to be flat so they don't go rolling. And you have a lot of overhead power lines, and those are front end mounts, so they pick up the dumpster, dump it. You can't do it with the overhead lines there. Location number 3 was as you come around the corner going into Hicks Square and 3rd Street, was that business, or that next to the building where we have it striped. Well, the reason we have that striped is cars park there and then the semis can't use the docks. So if we put the dumpster there, the semis can't get in the docks.
Car parked and no parking right there. Guess that car didn't care about that. Huh?
That is kind of funny. The 4th location is kind of tucked up into Hicks Square and visible somewhat from the river, but not terrible. And then also this location, actually the next 2 locations both worked for the mill. And then location number 5 is on the other side of Hicks Square. And for the mill, if you think about this area, we had to tuck them farther away. We can't bring them down over here because this is the access they use for their crane. Whenever they have to do maintenance on their dam or their building, which happens about once or twice a year, it seems like, probably once a year, they bring a big crane in there, and then we allow them to close the parking for a couple days until they get done. And some of that is their property also. So our recommendation is to put it in location number 4. And I don't have Google Street View up, but it isn't extremely visible from the, I mean, you're going to know it, you're going to see it, but we'll be able to match the tan colors from the mill and the building. This building right here is tan. It isn't super pronounced in your view based on where it's tucked. And, you know, unfortunately, it's not centrally located amongst the businesses. However, it is on the downhill side. If we were to go to the other side, up on the west, you're taking your loaded garbage up and the hill, and then you're taking empty down. So this way, your loaded is going down the hill, and you're coming back empty when you got to go up the hill. And a lot of the businesses right now, the heavier business users for the dumpster are located on the east end. But again, that can change. You know, 5 years, a year from now, a significant business or a business that you generate significant amounts of garbage could come into that alley. But that is our staff recommendation. Really, it's about the only place that fit, and it's the least visible of the two that worked for the restrictions we were facing.
Now, this is discussion only tonight, right? We're not making a final decision on this, just some input you want?
It's discussion, and then, yeah, if the board has concerns and they want to direct us back, we would have to look at it. And then we're going to be talking some more at public information meetings with this as our preferred location.
Okay. Did we learn one thing here today? Hick Square? Did you guys know there was a Hick Square?
I had no idea.
We got history people here. I had no idea. So clearly this is a challenge for the Historical Society to figure out why it's called Hicks Square. I can get Parrot Square, other things. There's got to be some significance to it. Are we on that?
I'll be on it.
Okay, all right. Historic Preservation Chair is on that right now. So get on that, Hicks Square. Alderperson Carpenter.
So you're going to change the parking then? Or am I looking at this map wrong?
You are, well, yeah, we are proposing to modify the parking to make it, right now the parking is kind of, there's a large amount of pavement in here, right?
Yes.
So we do have to take a look a little bit. We haven't finalized the design of the parking lot per se. But yeah, we're looking to try to get a sidewalk in here so that if someone does want to roll their garbage down, they have a sidewalk to access the side because these have a side door on them. So we are looking to modify it and make it a little cleaner, I should say. And then we are tucking it in. You're losing 2 stalls over here, but we're pushing it a little farther up so that when the doors swing open, it doesn't obstruct that parking spot.
Looks pretty decent. Is Alderperson Hanson's rock somewhere near there?
It is.
It is. So what happens to Alderperson's rock? Alderperson Hanson, which we're going to call Hanson's rock.
I heard he wanted me to use it for riprap. I'm just kidding. I wasn't touching the rock.
Get rid of it.
We can do whatever you want.
This is the time.
This is the time to get rid of it.
We can do whatever you want. Right now, I've got no plans. I'm just focused on where can I get the dumpster.
The rock will be gone.
Okay, so if we can make some kind of recommendation out of here, rock gone. Okay,
We're not engraving the rock?
we're not even sure what it's even there for. See, I thought I would jump in.
Thank
Pretty
you.
good, huh? You're welcome. I'm also fine with 4 with the recommendation as well, too. I mean, the mill seems okay with it, so that's a big thing, right? I suppose you want to get buy-in from the users. But a lot of the sites we have around the city right now, there is a distance for some businesses involved regardless of where you put it.
Yeah, if
I
you
think
look
anyone's
at
happy.
if you look at Marquette Square, it's located way on the
Marquette and West of Pier, right behind Pasquale.
yeah. It's located way on the west side.
You said Marquette Square.
I meant
Oh, the one over.
Nicolay.
Nicolay.
Square. Sorry, I meant Nicolay. Sorry.
It's fun. These are things we want to change these names for. So Nicolay Square behind Pasquale's.
Nicolay Square is way. It's
Yep.
as far west as it can be.
Sure.
Or east as it can be. Far as east as it can be.
Correct. Scott?
Sorry.
So just, I mean, this will be our 5th location. Our very first one was Nicolay. Then we went over to Marquette Square. And then we actually came over to, I call it Cobblestone Alley, but the 400 block of alley there. Then we just built, most recent after that was Mission Square. Now this will be our 5th location. And then we'll have one more location after that, and that'll take care of the downtown areas. And that's an area of the 100 block on North Broadway, and that site whenever it gets redeveloped. So
So then we're going to be getting rid of garbage truck, huh? We won't have no garbage to pick up.
Oh. Which one is the lease store? One of those things you just said is a lease store. Is that
That's Marquette.
Marquette?
That's Marquette. So is the residents or the business has been involved in this?
Well, we've had 2 public information meetings for the alley reconstruction already.
Yep.
Yeah. We didn't have great attendance, but we've had 2. And we're having a 3rd one on Wednesday. We've talked about the garbage dumpster in quite a bit more detail at the last one. But again, we didn't have a lot of people there, but we're trying. So there would be the one on Wednesday. I'll present this location.
Okay, thank you.
Hopefully one of the bar owners shows up. Was he there?
Well, I just
he'll
know
have a
somebody
lot
on
of
there
stuff.
was, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're actually pretty decent-sized users, so you'd think they would show up if it impacts their
think, and-
businesses, yeah. Well, you can just try. That's
get
all
the
you can do is
wagons
try.
and Pull their garbage down there.
Are we kind of sensing then we're okay with 4 as the option? without us making a vote or anything, just to help me move forward? Scott, Eric, is that okay? Everyone good? I don't want to move on unless we're all good there. Okay. All righty. Item 11, consideration possible action on award of contract 2504 American Boulevard Utility Extension. I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Carpenter. Discussion, comments, or something you all have to add? And we're approving the bid contractor, I'm looking right here, PTS Contractors, in the amount of $1,086,000. Questions, comments? Alderperson Carpenter.
When is this project going to get started then, Eric, once this gets going?
We haven't talked to PTS yet. Once it gets awarded, then we'll reach out to PTS and see. There's, I'm guessing right now with the amount of frost in the ground, they're not really interested in starting. In fact, PTS has a different job for GBMSD, and they indicated they don't want to start the next week or two because of the frost, but if things change. So my thought, I'm thinking it's going to be earlier this year. There's a lot of earthwork to be moved. This has some really deep sanitary and some big water main. It's a big job, but I don't have a date. So, but they have to be done by end of August, somewhere in there. So we have time to put the concrete in this year yet.
Okay, and then this connects right up to the town of Lawrence.
Yep. Yep.
Thank you.
By the way, I should note that a number of contractors bid on this project, and the range was not that wide. Matter of fact, many of them were very, very close, which I think is actually good news.
Well, we always like to have, particularly the first and second, the closer they are, the better. And you have a $9,000 difference on $1 million.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just amazing. I think that's really good. Okay, so we have a motion, we have a second. Any additional discussion, comments? That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 12, consideration possible action on award of contract 2603 sewer lining.
Move to approve the low bid from Visi Sewer.
I'll second.
Motion, Alderperson Hanson, seconded by Alderperson Ledvina. Discussion, comments? Anything we have? All right, that said, no discussion, no comments. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Where am I? Item 13, consideration possible action on award of contract 2605 Sidewalk and Curb Repairs.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
Motion by Alderperson Hanson.
No.
Motion by Alderperson Carpenter, seconded by Alderperson Ledvina. Discussion, comments?
This is for Al Dix.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
This is for Al Dix.
Yes.
Yes.
I know we've had highway landscapers the last couple of years, so I assume we did reference checks with Al Dix.
Al Dix has done a lot of concrete work in the city just as a subcontractor. So yeah, they were here last year on our 2501 job, and they've been here through the years. So yeah, we have no issues with them.
And it sounds like there were no issues with the highway landscapers.
No.
We saw them every place.
No.
So, yeah.
Just somebody else jumped in the
Just
party.
sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, right? So, yeah, that's right. All right, that said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 14, consideration possible action on award of contract 2613 Crackfilling.
I'll make a motion to approve asphalt seal and repair.
Second.
Motion, Alderperson Ledvina, seconded by Alderperson Hanson. Discussion, comments? Looks like you're all good. That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 15, consideration possible action on award of contract 2615 Sewer Televising.
Move to approve Green Bay Pipe and TV.
Second.
Motion by Alderperson Hanson, seconded by Alderperson Carpenter. Discussion, comments? Whoa, national power. Whew. Any?
Well, you never know.
Yeah, I guess you never know. Yeah,
Gotta throw one out there.
really have no idea. Why not? That said, looks like the right one won. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Item 16, consideration possible action on award of project 2619 Mudjacking, request for proposal.
Make a motion to approve Badger Concrete Lifting LLC.
Second.
Motion, Alderperson Carpenter, seconded by Alderperson Ledvina. Discussion, comments? You're all good. That said, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Future agenda items, does anyone have anything? Seems we're all good. I will then make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
Motion by me, seconded by Alderperson Ledvina. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.